Hi everyone and welcome back to Satisfactory. In today's episode I'm going to try and make a tutorial on hypercannons. Now in one of my previous episodes I've done one of these hypertubes and hypercannon, how they work. But now I'm going to do a tutorial on how to actually build the hypercannon and how to troubleshoot issues with it. Now, number one is once you need to figure out where you want to go with your hypercannon. Now, I've got the map open and I want to build from this point and I want to get all the way over there. So if you look on the map, that arch over there is what we're heading for. So around about that arch is what we're going to aim for landing at. That is kind of where we want to be. Now, step one is when you start your HyperTube Canon, start at the end of the cannon, not the start of it. So what I mean by that is if you look at those over here, you don't start on this side, you start on that side. Kind of work out which angle you want to go for. So is there going to be a lot of terrain in the way? Do you need to angle it up or down to get over the terrain? Now we've got a pretty clear shot towards that side, so I'm not too worried about it. So let's start off. Now number one is you need to build a ramp. You can always pretty this up at a bit later. So what I'm doing here is I'm just building up a ramp and then I'm going to grab these guys. I'm going to add one on here and I'm going to add another one on here. That now gives me my starting point for this. Number two is now I need to actually start with this, and this is where it's pretty important starting on this side instead of starting at the start. Now this is going to be our main starting point on this line, and it's very important, as I said, on this line. This is going to be the start one where we actually have our first entrance. From here on you take one, you can go 1, 2 back, place another one, and then you just go back to the line, so where these foundations meet, and repeat that process. So 1, 2, build one, build again, and we build another one. So 1, 2, and build another one. Okay, now that is just the start. We'll get to the rest. Now what we're going to do here is we want to add a entrance pointing that way. So let's point this entrance down, and now what we're going to take is our hypertube and we're going to go all the way up here. Now I've pre-worked out this one, so I know that it's going to work. So I'm going to place this down here and I want to take it up just one. No, actually, you know what? Let's just angle it a bit up. So let's just take it again, bring it to here, and I want to angle it up. Let's just angle it up like that. Okay. Now we've got the start of our hypertube going. Now you'll notice that I've got my jetpack on, and it's pretty important having your jetpack ready and on at all times, because while testing this you need to be very careful. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to run power to this guy, and you'll see that if I enter this, slowly but surely I'm just going up, got no momentum. So now what we need to do is we need to add the entrances to these guys. So all of the ones that's on the line itself, we add an entrance to. And what we then do is we just add the tubes from the entrance to the supports that we've built. And that should now work like that. Okay, now let's grab some more power for these guys. Just to add the last part. Okay, now this is not going to get us very far, so you need to build around about 8 to 9 of these to really get going. So let me show you what I mean. So now we've added a bit of momentum, as you can see, I'm going up a lot faster, but I'm not even close to getting anywhere. So now let's repeat this. I've already started with this, so let's just add, like I said, you take this 2 back and build it like that. A main mistake a lot of people make is they build these too close, and I'll show you why that's an issue in a bit. So let's just see, we've got about 7 now, should be another 2 sections. And right here at the end, your starting point, you can go from 2 gaps to 1 gap. Now I'll show you why that is important, or why you can go like that if you want to. Okay, now we've got quite a bit more. Okay, now let's add our entrances. All these guys on the lines, on the splits. Okay, and it should be that last one. Now we can add all of our tubes, and that should now start working as soon as we give it power. Still not done yet. Okay, now let's grab some power for these guys. Let's just go. Need all of them to have power. Let's just grab that last piece of power. We're almost done with this tube, to be honest. So now let's do another test run. So I'm just going to jump in. And as you can see, we're actually already going pretty far. I almost went way too far with that. So yes, I've got enough momentum already. We might just add another one. Okay, but now for the last part of this, so let's just add another one. Let's just go one more. And then we'll add the final part that's needed for this HyperTube Canon to work. So let's just add that. And now what we need is we need our entrance. So what we need here is we need to build a little ramp for our conveyor. So let's go level 4 conveyor. Okay, now very important, let's just add, you need to make sure you're full health when you start testing this. I'll show you why now. I'm expecting this to fail. So number one is you can jump on this, and as you run and jump, you actually shift run. So you shift run, and you saw I fell out there. I knew that was going to happen, and I'll show you how to fix that now. This is why a lot of these won't work. Is exactly what happened to me now, is why a lot of people get stuck on. So now I'm not going to shift run, I'm just going to run forward, and you see I still fall out. Now to fix that is very, very easy, guys. So right at the end, you take down your support, you take down the HyperTube, and you take your support and you move it 1, 2, 3 back. So let's just line it up. So 1, 2, 3 back. Let's do the same with this one and take it back 1, 2, 3. And now we just add our tubes back. And although it does look like this isn't going to work, this should now work. That's why I said at the beginning, the more speed you gain, the more distance you kind of need between the two the entrances. So let's try it again. Shift run. I fell out again, so that means somewhere. Let's take this guy out and move him back as well. So 1, 2, 3, and let's just add that guy. Let's make sure we've got our 1, 2, 3 gaps all over. It should work, and from now we should be fine to go. Okay, let's just shift run, and there we go. As you can see, I haven't even engaged my jetpack yet, and we've made it exactly where I want it to go. That's where the jelly pads come in handy. As you can see, I am actually way overshot it. If I had a jelly pad to land into, that would have stopped me completely. So that's how you can now bolt the HyperTube yourself, the Hyper Cannons, and you can actually see that it's not that difficult to fix them. So a lot of people get stuck on that issue where it kicks you out completely. Just move back your support just a slight bit. Now if you start adding more of these sections, so 8 to 9 you saw got us pretty far. As you add more, you gain a lot more momentum, and at some point you go too fast and you die completely. So that's why I said be careful. But now just another thing that you guys can also use this for is you don't need to fly through the air. So what I've done here is my return pipe for this is actually an enclosed pipe. So if I jump into this one like so, you'll see I gain the same amount of momentum, and here I go. I'm going super fast through this tube. If I added a few more to this, I would probably go a bit faster. But yeah, then it feels like I'm getting a bit seasick with this tunnel that I've built. So yes, that is basically how you do a HyperTube Canon, and you can also use this as your HyperTube entrances to speed up your journey tremendously. You really go super fast if you get it right. Like I said, if you start falling out of the tube, all you have to do is just add some extra of these supports. So you just need to make sure that you add the supports and move them back. So as you go back, they give you a bit more option to jump into. Guys, that was it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like. If you've got more questions on HyperTube Cannons, ask in the comment section. I will gladly answer if I can. Until next time, this has been Zombie Vega. Bye.